And Rush Limbaugh shocked the sports world last week when he revealed that he was part of a team bidding to purchase the St. Louis Rams NFL franchise. Now, immediately following that announcement, liberals from coast to coast, they lined up to attack the conservative radio talker. And tonight it looks like their efforts to politicize Rush's bid to buy the team may have, in fact, succeeded. Dave Checketts, who is chairman of the St. Louis Blues hockey team and leads the group bidding on the Rams, announced just a short time ago that Rush, in fact, will be dropped from the proposal. And all of this begs the question, what in the world did Rush Limbaugh's politics have to do with him buying a football team? Joining me now is journalist and commentator Stephen A. Smith and Michael Meyers from the New York Civil Rights Coalition. Politics?
Oh, it's always politics when you're talking about the NFL. This is a league that is close to perfection as it gets.
Rush's politics.
Well,
Rush is a conservative commentator.
Okay. Well, what I'm saying to you is that anything that's controversial or divisive in any way is something that the NFL is going to shun from. They're a billion-dollar business, and it's as close to flawless as you get in terms of their image or whatever. They're going to do anything to protect it, and obviously they felt this was something.
Well, let's have a hypothetical here. So if Jesse Jackson was part of a group that wanted to buy an NFL franchise, would he be denied because he said Hannity once?
Quite possibly.
You think so?
Quite possibly.
Do you think so?
No. It's a part of the double standard. You know, what offends me about this whole thing, this political posturing, is the racial buffoonery. It's the race baiting. It's the racial hustling. It's the constant finding a racist behind every rock. We see white people all over, and every time. Everybody's a racist. And we have these instant experts on who's a racist, like Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, who, by the way, embraced the real racist, Louis Farrakhan. But nobody ever talks about that, because that was a real black racist and an anti-Semite to boot. But they're the experts to whom the leftist liberal media go in order to shout and scream about Rush Limbaugh in terms of his not being politically correct.
You have a valid point, but at the same time, let's keep in mind that Rush Limbaugh does have 13 to 20 million listeners a day, 15 hours a week. Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton don't have that. That's all I'm saying. I'm not disagreeing with him. I'm just making that point.
All right, but both have, you know, I find this amazing. You know, you think of interlopers, Al Sharpton using the N-word about the African-American mayor of New York City. Well, okay, but so he's
about being divisive. Who's more divisive than Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson?
Well, but the point is, how did
someone say Rush Limbaugh?
Oh, come on.
Some would say that. I'm just saying, some would say that.
Even if that's the case, these owners, I think, on my part, this is just cowardice on their part in terms of not standing up in terms of a general principle. And that is, who is Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson to rush before the cameras and the microphones and say, and Ben Jealous, by the way, whose name is appropriate because he's jealous of Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton in terms of publicity. Who are they to say that Rush Limbaugh can't spend his own money to own or co-own a winless team?
Let me put this on Front Street. My thing was, I felt I had no problem with Rush Limbaugh pursuing ownership of a team. I felt he had every right to go for it, and if they wanted to protest, let them protest. I was interested in seeing the African-American ball players that swore they would stand up and say, no way I would play for Rush Limbaugh. Oh, really? He throws millions your way. You're going to turn it down? I wanted to see that happen because I wasn't believing it. Oh, absolutely. I will tell you right here, I don't believe that.
On that point, if Rush were in a position to deny a black player the right to play, or in a position to say, I'm not going to field any black players, or in a position to say, I'm not going to take the best in the league because they're black, that's racism. This isn't racism.
Listen, Rush is probably one of the biggest NFL football fans in the country.
That's true.
And one of the most knowledgeable. And one who admires the talent of the players on the field.
Allow me to play the role of Sean Hannity here and play devil's advocate, because you do that quite well on a daily basis.
Okay,
here's the deal.
Yeah.
Rush Limbaugh is the guy that said what he said about Donovan McNabb and the media desirous to be well. Rush Limbaugh is the guy.
You said you agreed with that comment.
That's right. No. What I said was, when he said what he said, he was talking about the media. I didn't feel that initially that he should have been dismissed over such a comment until he refused to apologize.
Was that a fair commentary on Rush's part?
Let me put it this way. I don't get the fixation, the obsession with Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh is not only offensive in terms of being on the air, he's also very funny. I love this comment, by the way, about when Obama did not get the Olympics. Rush Limbaugh goes to the microphone. He says, "The eagle has landed." Great line. Now, to some it was offensive. To some it was offensive. I found it very funny.
Yeah. I found it corny. We have different opinions.
Let me ask you this. You said that about Rush. Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
When I've got a tape of President Barack Obama talks about white folks' greed running a world in need. Hang on a second.
I haven't heard that tape, but if you have the tape,
and the president talked about the typical.
If the president said that, he was wrong. Period.
Okay. So wait, Al Sharpton associates with the president, and now he's going to attack Rush Limbaugh. So is Al Sharpton a hypocrite?
Well, it depends on what Al Sharpton is having to say.
Wait a minute, he's criticizing Rush. I've got a tape.
But Sean, what I'm saying to you is, okay, if you want to point to his actions and say he's a hypocrite, fine. What I'm saying to you is this. If Rush Limbaugh, you're talking to a guy that had no problem with him pursuing ownership of a team. But if Rush Limbaugh says the NFL is tantamount to the Bloods and the Crips, or they look like the Bloods and the Crips without any weapons, that is a racist statement. That's all I'm saying.
The problem is that we have too many so-called civil rights leaders, I put that in quotes, who chase after so-called racist cartoons, who engage in racial buffoonery, who want to boycott every radio host and TV host with whom they disagree.
That's what it's about, isn't it?
That's what it's about. It's a larger issue.
And it has to be politics.
That's right. And it has to stop. And people who disagree with them have to find their voice in their guts.
All right. Based on your statements here tonight, then I assume that you're going to say that President Barack Obama, who hung out in Jeremiah Wright's church, and that Barack Obama, who said white folks' greed runs the world in need, are you going to make the same incendiary judgment against him?
No.
No. Now you're not being honest.
I am. I'm always honest.
Come on.
Let me tell you something. If Barack Obama said what you say, you have a tape of him saying, I would go up against him. A matter of fact, I'll shock you. I happen to agree with you half the time. I think there's too many taxes. I think it's too much government. Don't go that far. But I am a fiscally conservative independent. My point to you, though, is this.
I would not call,
to some degree.
This is unfair.
In the NFL, anything's politics. When you talk about that much money, how are y'all acting shocked? It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Of course it's politics.
What it is, it's buffoonery. It's people who want to go before the cameras, get a quick win, because they know the owners and the people with
There's a difference between race baiting from time to time and being racist. I would not call him a racist. I'm saying I would not call Rush a racist. I want to make that clear. But I do think that he has said some racially insensitive things, and I don't think that can be denied.
And so is Barack Obama, and so is Jeremiah Wright.
Well, then get all of them.
Have they?
I'm saying I didn't hear that, Sean, but I do agree with you.
Do you think hanging out in that reverend's church was?
I don't think that was a good idea.
Do you think he didn't know? Do you believe him when he said I had no idea?
Of course not. Of course.
So he lied.
Of course not. What politician doesn't?
Ronald Reagan didn't.
Oh, my Lord.
And coming up,
the great American hero.
The government option is not dead yet, according to a number of Democrats on the Hill. Governor Mitt Romney is here. He's in studio coming up next. But first,